What's the deal, YouTube? It's your girl, Miss Honey. Welcome to Woosah Wednesday, you guys. You know what it is. Every Wednesday, what do we do? Black Ink Crew, New York. This episode really didn't start getting good until Sky Crazy Baby Daddy showed up at the end, but we're gonna get to that, okay? Before we get started with this review / recap, please remember to subscribe. Hit that subscribe button down below. Give me a thumbs up. I'd love to hear some feedback. Do you guys watch the show? Do you like the show? Do you like my reviews? What's up? Okay, so let's get into this. Black Ink Crew, New York, Season 5, Episode 7. The ring don't mean a thing. Okay, so of course, we always open up same place, 113, with Bay and Walter. They seem like to be the only two constant people in the shop. I mean, I'm pretty sure Walter has a cot in the bag. I mean, he's pretty much always there. And Bay need a man. She's super duper horny. She hasn't had sex in over a year since her divorce. Evidently she found out her husband was cheating. She went to his job, looked on the video, and saw him having sex with another woman. So Walt thinks it's a good idea to put her on Tinder to see if he can get her hooked up. Sky Titty walks in, and you know, she is amped up as usual, and she joins Walt in the hunt to look for Bay, a stalker from Tinder, to kill her in her sleep. I mean, you guys, I did Tinder. I promise you, it is loser central. Loser central. You only need like a couple of 2 or 3 days before you realize this some bull. This is some bull. Okay, so then we see Ted and Cease. Cease in the car. Ted gets in the car. He's like, what's going on, man? What's happening? And Cease tells him that while Duchess' brother and sister was there, of all people, this girl comes in and tells Duchess her sister was pregnant by Cease, but Cease forced her to get a divorce. And Ted is like, what? What's going on here? And he says in the confessional, this is so typical Duchess, like for her to have overreacted the way she did. It's typical Dutch, like not to give Cease the opportunity to explain himself or any of that. Like that overreacting is typical Dutch, and I tend to agree with that. I mean, if the circumstances were as we saw them, like they happened as we saw them last week, I didn't see no reason why she didn't hear him out right then and there. Like, I didn't get the point in that. Or at least when he came home that night, hear him out. But from what he's telling Ted, she won't even let him in the house. Like, he can't go home and she's there. So he get a call from her while he in the car with Ted, and tells him that she's going to a hotel because she needs time to think. She needs time to clear her mind and figure things out. And so Caesar's like, man, okay, I love you, Dutch. You know, we'll talk. So he lets her do her thing, you know what I'm saying? He don't try to force himself on her, which I think is cool. I hate it when people just try to force the issue, like especially when you need to think for a minute. But I really believe Caesar when he says that he was afraid. He tells Ted he was afraid. He's scared because he really thinks this is bad. He is upset because they in the same city and they can't even see each other. He can't even see her. And you know, he's not himself, and he just tells Ted, I need you back. I need you back in the shop because with everything that's going on, I'm not in the frame of mind to be able to manage both shops. So Ted, you know, like a true family member, says, when you need me back. And he says, whenever you can get back, Ted's going to come in the next day. But C seems like he is really, really, really hurt. And I don't know. I mean, I just feel like Duchess is a little dramatic. She goes a little too far. Then we see Dutch back in the shop back in the hotel, and she says she's sick to her stomach. She needs some time to clear her mind and get some clarity on the situation. And like the slow music is playing in the background, and she done got in the bed and curled up. Like, I don't know, Dutch. It's so much. It's just so extra right now. I mean, come on. First of all, if you really think your man did something, you don't get him time to think. Everybody know that. You hit him on the spot with the question. As soon as he walked in that door, I would have just been like, "What's going on? What woman is she talking about? Do you have any idea who this person is?" I mean, I don't know. Anyway, then we see Richard, and Kitty in the shop. Sky done called all the ladies in there, into the shop, told him not to wear panties. Basically, told him to wear a dress. She turns out she wants to get a designer vagina, and she says because she had two kids. And I'm like, yeah, maybe it's because you had two kids, but you had kids under the age of 16. Like, you first season of Black Ink Crew. I mean, no shade, but Sky's a pretty, you know what I'm saying? She get around you, girl, get around. She get around. I mean, you know what I'm saying? She ain't no stranger to the peni, to the penis, to the schlong, to that Georgia Dome. You know what I'm saying? She like to get that bank. That's why you need a designer vagina. You had plenty of time to snap back. You had your babies when you was under 16 years old. Come on. Goodbye, Sky. Maybe because you've been fucking since you 12. Maybe that's it. Okay. Anyway, so she wanted the ladies to give a mold of their vaginas, which they gladly do, whatever. And she picks Kit's vagina, which I don't know why I thought Kit had a child too, but I mean, that don't make your vagina bad. I don't know. Anyway, it was weird. So after that, we see Dutch meeting up with C's at the restaurant. Well, she's supposed to meet up with him at the restaurant to talk about the situation, and C's never shows. She's called him on the phone. She's left him several messages. He's not picking up the phone. He's not answering. He just never shows. And so she's like, of course, she called him and gave him a threat, gave him an ultimatum. And my thing is that if this not his normal MO, then I would say, okay, something's going on. At the same time, later on in the next scene, he says why he wasn't there, why he didn't show up. She think I stood her up, but you didn't even call the girl and tell the girl you was gonna be late, or you had this emergency. You know what I'm saying? Like, what's going on with the communication here? Y'all not ready to get married, but okay. Anyway, he doesn't show up, and then we see her in the confessional, and she is crying. She's upset because she feels like, you know, he don't care how she feels. And Duchess is so melodramatic. She's one of those people. She kind of like Sky, but at the same time, Duchess cry in a real whine. I just feel like he don't care how I feel. She's just so whiny and melodramatic. And it's the way she does it is so victimy. Like, it drives me crazy. It's real victimy. Her crying, her whining is real victimy. Anyway, we see Sky and Donna. Donna's moving out. Evidently, she's only been back in the shop a couple of days, a couple of weeks, something, and she's already made enough money to move out. Okay, Donna. Okay. Sky tells her girlfriends that um asked them had they seen what was going on Instagram, and they're like, what? And she's like, well, my baby daddy is stalking me. So apparently Sky has two baby daddies. She has two sons, but they not by the same dude. The dude we saw last season or the season before, whenever that was, he showed up, is the guy she tells everybody is her kid's father. But he just turns out to be the best father of the two. One of the sons, I think the oldest, was conceived when she was in the ninth grade. I think she said she was 13 years old. And she was hanging out with this dude. He was 29. And she ended up getting pregnant. And because it was going to be a statutory rape charge, He denied the baby, said it wasn't his. They did a paternity test, found out it was his, and he got out. He was out because he knew they was gonna lock him up for sleeping with a minor. But she said out of her own mouth, at that age, she didn't care. I think, that goes back to her being abandoned by her mom and looking for love and that type of thing. But Sky been at it. She been in the game. She been in them streets for a long time. Like she got some. She's not that old, but she has lived enough for two lifetimes, full on. Like anyway, she tells a story about this guy stalking her on Instagram, and he's trying to reach out to her. And even though he abandoned her and the child, now he's come back and he's saying he wants his son, and he is acting like Sky kidnapped the child. Um, so she's crying, she's upset. She talked about how he beat her and a lot of other stuff that he did to her, and Donna's crying. And I mean, it's a sad moment, but also like it's a weird moment. It's one of those moments when you find out something kind of puzzling, like one of those subjects you really have more questions to ask, but because it's so delicate you can't ask it, but you just, I mean, so you caught between sad and puzzle. It was a weird moment. Then we see Bay and Walter. Bay's on Tinder now. She's got a Tinder date. Then comes her client, Young Bang. Bang wants a tattoo. The symbol of the tattoo means new beginning. I have seen so many different symbols that mean new beginning. Like, just say it's a really, really pretty tattoo for you. I mean, it, who's doing the research on these things? Like, who's in charge of new beginnings? I mean, we're just passing out new beginnings everywhere, but whatever. So Yang Bang, her name is Yang, and Yang Bang is a joke because she says she ain't looking for a Tinder date. She looking for a Yang Bang date. Walter thought that was funny. Anyway, she gets the tattoo. It's a beautiful tattoo. But while she's getting the tattoo, Bay is telling the story about her husband. He's somebody that she met, and it's the only family she knew here. Basically, they connected, got married. Only family they knew. It was a great relationship. He loved her. He took care of her. But one day, she went to his job and saw him on videotape screwing another woman, and she felt so disrespectful and so hurt and so betrayed because that was all the family she knew, and she divorced him like within a week. Like she got the papers and had him sign it within a week of discovering all of this. So she must have been extra betrayed. And Bae seemed like the kind of person that keeps, you know, her wall built like partly ways, and that way all she got to do is stack it up this high to get rid of you. But she always got like a little bit of a wall right there, and I could understand it to a degree because she suffered some serious betrayals. So um, she did a beautiful, beautiful, beautiful tattoo on this young lady. Then we see sees he's talking to his brother and Teddy outside of the brownstone, and he's telling them how Duchess think he stood her up. But his brother says, "I've been calling you and calling you and calling you. You ain't answer me back." And Cease was like, "Yeah, um, I got into something with my daughter yesterday. It was kind of an emergency thing. Duchess had been calling me too. We were supposed to meet up to talk, but she thinks I stood her up because I didn't answer my phone. I had this thing with my daughter." And I was just like, dude, you could have texted her and told her we got a rain check. Come on. It sound funny. It sound fishy. Okay, that's not cool standing people up. But anyway, evidently Duchess went back to the apartment, left Caesar Dear John letter and her ring. So he's showing them the ring. He had Ted read the Dear John letter. So Ted read the Dear John letter. Of course, it's typical Dutch. I mean, it's typical Dutch. Cease is upset. He is pissed off that she didn't stay to talk to him and stay to work it out. And he feels like now his feelings are so hurt. He feels like that Dutch never ever really loved him. That's maybe a little stretch there, sees. At the same time, you know, you know how Dutch is. Dutch want to be chased. She wants you to sweat it out, stress it out, and this what she want. This what she want. How you feeling right now is what Dutch loves. Like it makes her teeth white. Sidebar: Teddy's nails were so white. I was like, does he have polish on, or I think he might have a vitamin deficiency. They were like freakily white when he was reading that letter. I just sidebar. Anyway, then we see Babe, Richard, and Walter at 113. In walks Donna, then Teddy. Teddy's back. He, of course, wants to know off the rip where the pole is and why the freak Donna is in the shop. Donna says she works there now and she wants to know why Teddy's in the shop. And Teddy says, I'm back. And so, of course, Sky wants to know. She said she heard something happen between Ceasar and Dutch, and she wants to know what happened. Like, first of all, everybody know. They just want to hear Teddy version of it. Um, so Teddy don't tell it. In walks Ceasar, and Ceasar basically runs the story down. And when he runs the story down, um, you know, he tells the story, but he tells it minus the fact that he stood Duchess up at the coffee shop. Sky just acts so happy. She acts so happy, like, oh, she's gone, she's gone, she's gone, she's gone. And I'm like, really, Sky, you raised all that hell with Tiffany over Dutch. Now that C's break up with her, you acting so rah rah. She was just as fake with Teddy. She was just like when Teddy came in and Sky came in, she was just like, Teddy, you back, you back, you back. And then in the confessional, she was like, why the hell is Teddy back? Same thing with C's and Dutch. She found out Dutch was gone and she was like, you know what I'm saying? Yeah. Dutch is back. Dutch is gone. Dutch is gone. You know what I mean? To me, it makes you look desperate to eat when you don't have a side, when you don't have integrity enough to be real about how you feel about people. It just makes you look like you desperate to be friends or desperate to get put on. I don't like that. I don't like it. It bothers me. Anyway, Um, so they asking with everything that's going on, they're gonna still have a Halloween party. And C's was like, yeah, I need a Halloween party more than ever. So then we see them at the Halloween party. And the Halloween party is at 125th. So everybody there's a costume party, everybody dressed up, decked out, whatever, whatever. And Kit and Ted noticed that Caesar's over in the corner in his booth, and he is depressed. Like he quiet, he chilling, he not drinking, he not amped up or anything, and they feel bad for him. So Teddy makes a couple of phone calls and gets a stripper over there. Evidently, Kit's down with that. She's like, normally we don't do this over here at 125th, but it's not that kind of place. But y'all make an exception for C's. And the stripper goes up to C's and she's ready to get, do a stripper dance. And he's just like, you know what I'm saying? I was glad he did that. He just wasn't feeling the whole stripper thing. He was like, I'm good. I don't need a stripper. And the stripper was like a little embarrassed that she didn't get to dance. So she goes on about her business. Of course, Teddy is shocked. Teddy is like, who turns down a stripper? Somebody who's actually loved a woman before Teddy. How about that? How about that? So then Melody eases her way over to Caesar and was like, yeah, you seem down. And he was like, yeah. And she was like, is it because Duchess on Instagram? It's because you've seen the pictures of Duchess on Instagram? People like, what you talking about? So he showed the pictures and Duchess is down in North Carolina at homecoming and she is raw, baby. She is turned up. She is, you know, she is raw. I mean, full on, like twerking, shaking it, hanging out, doing it the whole nine. And Caesar's like, what? So I'm up here moping, feeling down, and Duchess is down there at home coming twerking for a bunch of college kids. Like, what the F, Duchess? And come to find out that day is their anniversary. So C's just leaves the shop and him and his boys roll out. And he just seems really genuinely depressed by that. Like down about it, like I don't know. I feel bad for C's, but at the same time he kinda brought it on himself. Okay, so then just a quick sidebar number two. Have you guys seen the trailers for Love and Hip Hop Atlanta? Oh my gosh, those trailers are so lit. It makes you excited to see the show. Like I know when the show starts, it's gonna be garbage. Like from Giddy Up, it's gonna be straight garbage. But the trailers always made me want to watch it. So that was a quick sidebar. So we see Bae's on her Tinder date, which I still think was a joke and a setup by Walter. I mean, this Tinder date was so bad, and I have been on some bad dates, and I have been on some bad Tinder dates, but he shows up. He's got chocolate, a stain of chocolate on his shirt. First of all, he sent her old army pictures of like when he first went in the army after high school. That's not the same dude. He's thicker, older now. He looked like he's 42, but he say he 28. Bay is 32. And he's like, oh, I like to date an older woman. She was like, I'm not an older woman. You're just 28. Which, loosely, we say 28. Okay, so he got a stain on his shirt. He is unemployed currently. He turns out he's a deadbeat dad. He's got some baby mama drama, and he burps. He's a random burper. He's he don't order no food. Bay order food. He eats her food because he don't want to pay for food. Why are you on Tinder? Why are you dating? Like, no, you need to be somewhere rehabilitating yourself. Get your life right now. It's got to be a joke. It was a setup. It was a bad setup. Anyway, we see that Cease comes into the shop. He walks in, and they're all sitting around chit chatting, talking like they do. In walks Sky's crazy baby daddy. She's looking down at her phone, and he says hello, and she looks up and she sees it's him. She looks back down at her phone. She doesn't even flinch. She gets up. She walks around him. He's standing right at the front door. She pulls the front door. He said, "Oh, you gonna leave?" And then he pushes the door back closed, and she snatches it back open. Walks out past him, and he walks out right behind her, and he's like, "Kiki." Everybody in the shop's like, "Who is that? What's going on? What are you doing?" And before the guy walked out, he said, "I'm her baby daddy, nigga." So that was a weird moment. He's walking out behind her. He's calling her Kiki. So as she's going into the shop next door, she's screaming for security to get him away from her. She goes into the back. He's trying to follow her. We see that security is ushering him out of this shop. So he is outside of the shop, and he's like pacing, like up and down the sidewalk. Bay walks by, I guess, to take her handbag and stuff. And when she comes back by, she's shaking her head at. Well, he perceived that she was shaking his head, and he was like, "What you shaking your head at?" She was like, "I can shake my head." He was like, he just went at it with Bay. He was very verbally aggressive with her. So Walt comes out. Walt goes in to talk to Sky. Sky's like, "I just want him to leave." Meanwhile, now he's walking around outside, and he's talking to himself. He's like, "I've been looking for her for 12 years, and I just want my son, and just she's gonna talk to me. I'm not leaving." He's standing outside the shop waiting for her to come out. Like, Walt goes out there. Walt talks to him, and he tries to explain to him that she's really, really frightened, and he needs to go ahead and leave. And he says, and then Walt, he goes back and forth with Walt for a minute, and then Walt says, "Well, I'm just gonna be honest with you. You can leave on your own. I can call the police to come and get you. Now, typically you don't see people in the hood call the police on each other. That's typically not how things are done. But I don't know if it was the fact that this guy was acting just that crazy or if it was because of production that Walt says he was gonna call the police. But anytime somebody tell you they're gonna call the police, like you must seriously be up to no good. Anyway, as he's walking off, he says, next time I come back up here, it's gonna be a different story. Oh, I got chills, you guys. I've been in that situation before. I'll be honest, I've been in that situation before, but you dealing with somebody that's just not freaking stable. And all you can do is just be calm until you can get yourself, remove yourself from that person's presence and put, some distance or some building, some wall between you and them because you can just feel on them that at any second they are going to explode. Like this guy was a ball of rage. Like, I don't know. I don't know. This is a scary situation. I wish Sky all the best. We'll see next week how this whole thing plays off. Evidently, they're going to Miami next week, and that's my thing with Sky. It's like major, major drama, happy, 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 joy, 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 major, major drama. It's weird setup. But that's it for Black King Crew, you guys. Let me know what you think. What y'all think about Duchess Seas? What y'all think about Dutch giving the ring back and all of that? What y'all think about Teddy being back? Anyway, put it all down below. Don't forget to subscribe. Don't forget to give me that thumbs up. And thank you again for watching. Until next time, you guys. I'll holla.